Alright, welcome to part 2. I know I kept saying that this part was supposed to be in the previous video, but you gotta admit, it was really long. So anyway, let's get to it. Alright, so we're gonna start with the cost of getting Twilight Paladin, and of course we will always look at the cheapest option. So, of course the most expensive options will be anything that involves crystals, right? And so if you're looking at Twilight Paladin, of course you have to get Violet Executor first. So we'll talk about getting Violet Executor. 80 fragments are needed to get a base S rank Valkyrie, and if you're going to get that purely from the War Treasury, you're going to need 14 weeks, which is 3.5 months. That'll require 1,120 willpower, but we'll talk about the willpower shortly. So getting double S is 100 fragments from S rank, and if you add that together with the S rank, it is 180 in total. So it's 14 weeks plus 16 for the double S segment, and that'll be 30 weeks, which is about 7.5 months. For willpower, it will be 1,120 and 1,400, which will be 2,520. Then we go to triple S, which requires 200 from double S to triple S, and if you add them all together, it will be 380 in total. Fragments, of course. And then we have 14 weeks plus 16 weeks plus 34 for the triple S segment, and it will be 64 weeks. That will be a span of 16 months or 1 year and 4 months. 1,120 willpower plus 1,400 plus 2,800, which is the triple S section, and that'll be 5,320 willpower. So while that might seem like a huge amount of willpower, don't forget you are limited by time. You can only get 6 per week, and that'll be 84 willpower per week. That is very affordable even if you're in expert tier of the Memorial Arena. From then on, it takes about like 2 weeks to get to expert tier, so you can start getting Violet Executor really soon. Also, you do get a little bit of willpower from the open world if I'm not wrong, and some of the events also provide those. So it's not really too much of a concern in terms of resources, it's just the amount of time that you have to spend. I wouldn't say farming, but it kind of technically is farming. Anyway, so that covers Violet Executor, which is the base form of the augmented Twilight Paladin, and we're gonna look at the cores to get her there. Alright, so S rank gets you up to 4 stars, double S gets you the 5th star, and triple S gets you fully upgraded at 6 stars. So we will require Twilight cores at the start of it, then later on we will also require smelted cores. I'm not gonna put a timeline onto these because Astrite and gold pins, they're actually pretty easily accessible. So if you want a tip on like how to get more Astrite, some people they farm the daily missions where you can get those Twin Sakura fragments or whatever they're called, those that you use to upgrade weapons and stigmata. And you can just convert them to Astrite. You can convert your Access SS Imaginons. I wouldn't go for AE Imaginons though, because those are more valuable in the sense that you can keep exchanging them to get Honkai Crystals. So yeah, mostly just the SS Imaginons and, whatever else that you don't really need. So yeah, there's no real timeline on those. You can get 40 Twilight cores per week at 600 Astrite each. You can get 5 smelted cores, also weekly at 600 Astrite each. And you can get 10 smelted cores with the gold pins, but that's only per update. So of course, there's the wild card where you can buy the dorm supply tickets from your dorm and Armada shops. So, you can also get them from your Armada commissions. And if you happen to get Violet Executor within that 1 year and 4 months, then of course, it's gonna push you forward by quite a bit. But yeah, the calculations are based on just buying her fragments purely. So that's done with that, and we move on to Bright Knight Excelsis. So as you guys know, Bright Knight Excelsis will not be available anywhere else except for her expansion banner, and that is where the cost the difference in cost from her and Twilight Paladin becomes extremely huge. So let's just do a minimum to maximum gauge, right? So for S rank, if you're extremely lucky, it has happened to me before on the Japanese servers, so if you get the S rank in your first pull, you only spend 280 crystals. So to get her S rank, we're gonna set it at 280 crystals as a base, and 28,000 crystals for the S rank guarantee. So that's 1 card. To get the next 100 fragments to get the S2 double S, we're gonna set it at I don't know, 1,400 crystals, which is like 5 pulls, to 84,000 crystals, which is 3 guarantees. So you'll need 10 fragments and 3 cards, right? So I'm not gonna, I mean, if you get the cards, you're not gonna get the fragments in between. So I think the maximum is 5 fragments. So that's why I put it at 5 pulls, 3 cards, and getting fragments twice. That is basically impossible, but you know, who knows? Maybe if that happened to you, you can let me know. But 84,000 is the guarantee for 3 cards, and of course, in between, you are expecting to get 10 fragments. Also, if that happens to you where you get the 3 cards but no fragments, let me know that. That is insane statistics. Okay, so we get on to adding the 2 of them. 280 at minimum plus 1,400 minimum is 1,680, and 28,000 minimum with 84,000 minimum is 112,000 crystals, for a total of 4 cards and 10 fragments, getting you unlocking the Valkyrie all the way to SS. Now we look at SS, 1,960, which is not even 10 pulls, because we're looking at 6 cards and 20 fragments, so I'm gonna put it at 7 pulls instead. And then we need 7 guarantees, which is 196,000. So adding them all together for a total of 11 cards, you'll spend anywhere from 3,640 crystals to 308,000 crystals. That is simply insane. And I'm about to do something like that, so wish me luck. Anyway, yeah, that is pretty much the difference in cost. Of course, the timing that it takes to get that amount of crystals really depends on how you're getting the crystals. If you're buying crystals, you could get it anywhere in like a few minutes. But of course, if you're going to be farming crystals, the average farming speed, depending on stuff like monthly cards and BP, if you're purely just farming without having spent a single cent on the game, it should be about 6,000 to 8,000. I'd go with 8,000. That sounds more of what I'm seeing around F2P players, to all the way up to 12,000. That is with BP and monthly included. And depends on the events that are happening at the time. You know, some events they come out and they just throw crystals at us, and thankfully that seems to be happening more frequently, so I really do appreciate it. Anyway, it also depends on your Abyss rank. If you're anywhere around Sinful or Red Lotus, you should be fine, so try to get within that range. And yeah, so with that kind of a saving speed, you'll take up to, I think, 3 years is a gauge to get a SS Valkyrie. That is S-base and supply only. That is, I mean, that's just nuts. So that's not even including equipment, which we are going to look at now. Okay, so for equipment, I have seen multiple people getting like 5 epic items in the same 10 pull. 6 in the same 10 pull I've only ever seen once. I don't have the screenshot here. I can't remember where I saw it. I think it was in the Japanese server. But that doesn't happen as often. However, you know, 5 in the same 10 pull seems to happen pretty much every version. I'd see someone getting something like that. I know it's not common at all. It's never happened to me, so you know, I'm with you guys if you find that that is incredibly lucky. However, I have seen multiple screenshots of different people getting stuff like that. So the point of what I'm saying is we're gonna take 10 pulls to be the minimum amount, which is 2,800. If you get 4 different epic items and all 4 of them are part of the rate up, you're insanely lucky, but also that will be the minimum amount spent. So it can go all the way up to 56,000, which is 4 times 50, hitting all the guarantees in Equipment Expansion. Believe me, Equipment Expansion is quite the nightmare. I think for Argent Knight, I think I hit like 48,000 or something. That was pretty insane. But realistically speaking, if you are pulling from Focus Supply, it should be anywhere from 40 pulls, which is 11,200, to about 140 pulls, which is still 39,200, nowhere near 56,000, which is great. So that's kind of the cost we're looking at when we're looking at equipping Valkyries, especially S ranks, because nowadays they have that special focus where you can do like 120 to get everything, 30 per guarantee, so that is quite a relief. So yeah, mainly if you're trying to equip an S rank, that will be the cost, but also with the 120 guarantee, that is pretty close to what we're looking at here. So anyway, if you throw that in with an S gacha only Valkyrie, that will total up to somewhere around 340,000 crystals. I know that's on the extreme high end, but that is pretty much what you will be looking at spending if you're trying to do that. If you're doing that for Twilight Paladin, yes, you will have that 1 year, 4 months wait, but in between that time, you will also be saving your crystals because you will not have to spend a single crystal to get the Valkyrie itself. And so that's the real difference in their cost. Not only that, Bright Knight is actually dealing less damage than Twilight Paladin. And I know we did the DPS test and it seems like, oh, Bright Knight deals a lot of damage as well. Yes, but you have to take into account how easily accessible their damage is. And Bright Knight's isn't exactly easily accessible, and that is the problem. So, yeah, we're gonna end off the video at that. You know, honestly, if I were not to go for the Bright Knight, the best option I could go for is Stygian Nymph. Getting her to Triple S will be pretty awesome. But yeah, I did already commit to getting Bright Knight Excelsis before we even saw any kind of stats from her, and I am a man of my word. I'm going to stick to it, whether or not she's good. But on the bright side, haha. Anyway, on the bright side, you know, I think a lot of the problem comes from her weapon, and mainly her playstyle, which is something that's hard to fix. But, you know, if we look back, weapon isn't something that's too hard to fix. I know Lance is probably too new to get a PRI, but if it's not a PRI, maybe a Divine Key. I don't think a Divine Key is gonna outpower a gacha weapon anytime soon, even though Divine Keys are sufficiently powerful. But maybe, who knows, maybe we'll get like another Durandal battlesuit with a good lance that is compatible with Bright Knight as well. That is totally a possibility, but I wouldn't be holding my breath for it. So I'm gonna give you guys an idea of like where Bright Knight stands. If you haven't seen this website before, I'm showing you a screenshot where Bright Knight, you know, I mean, not just Bright Knight, but just about every Valkyrie with every different kind of combination. They have your runs and their team combinations logged in here. So I'm going to leave the link in the description. If you want to check it out, you can, but you'll have to at least be able to navigate the site. But yeah, if you don't find it convenient, if you could just click around if you want to. Otherwise, you could look for various YouTube sources. They come from players who are in the Taiwan, Korean, Southeast Asian, and global servers, and they are really good playthroughs as well. So anyway, for a rough comparison, I'm going to leave you guys with the peak test for Void Drifter and Stygian Nymph. But two things to note, they are not affixed, so you'll see their attack right here. And the other thing is that their damage is available right off the bat. Like, once you go in and the boss spawns, you can do it immediately. And in the time other Valkyries take to charge, you're already prepping for your second rotation. So that is the main difference. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know whatever you thought about these two videos in the comment section down below. This has been MG. I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.